Hey guys, Ralph here, and welcome to True Power Weight Loss Center here on sensational Saturday here in Connecticut. It is now after 1 o'clock. Last time you talked to me or saw me, it was not even 5 o'clock, and I am killing it, man. Had a great bike ride. Looks like we're going to get a tropical storm tomorrow, and all that entails, so I may not be able to get out tomorrow. But whatever. Life's good. Anyway, you saw the thumbnail. Mike Trout. Roid injuries. Now, guys, let's get a couple things straight before I start. First of all, I don't know Mike Trout. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy, and he's an exceptional baseball talent. No question about it. He's being compared to guys like Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle, which is a joke. It was just a joke. He's not even Manny Ramirez. Well, Manny Ramirez is great. Guys, that's not even close. Even the best that you could possibly foresee in the future, he's not that. Could he sneak in as a Hall of Famer? Sure. If he keeps up what he's done. But he is obviously not keeping up what he's done. And I'll get back to that in a second. So number one, nice guy. This is not a hate video at all. Okay? Now, second of all, I want to point out, I am one of the few guys that don't have a problem with steroids in sports. It's just a reality, guys. It's everywhere. It is absolutely everywhere. And if you don't know it, then you, please, send me a copy of those rose-colored glasses you're on. But I don't care. The fact of the matter is, nobody cares. The players don't care. They want the money. That's all there is to it. They want the money. The owners don't care. Fans like to watch these mythical bionic figures just do incredible things. That's what they're paying for. And the Angels, if Mike Trout is going to be spend the rest of his career swathed in bandages, the Angels are in trouble because they're in deep to him for the next 10 years. I mean, to the tune of like 400 million. Anyway, but anyway, so where were we? I just think they're there, and I act accordingly. You know, whenever I have a discussion about, who's better, Willie Mays or Barry Bonds. Well, Barry Bonds was on roids. Well, you don't know what pitchers were on roids. If you're going to bring steroids into the equation, you can't have a discussion because they're that prevalent and they're everywhere. You don't think those Olympics that we just watched? Well, nobody watched, but you don't think they would chuck? You don't think Simone Biles is juiced to the gills? Anyway, here's the deal. What I'm doing this video on is like everybody's talking about his injuries. And is that going to ruin his chance at the Hall of Fame and all this sort of stuff? No. If it continues like this, he's not even going to sniff the Hall of Fame. All right? Now, let me tell you, these are absolutely 100% steroid injuries. You can look any way you want. He looks like Roger Clemens. He looks like Jose Canseco. He looks like somebody from the WWF. It's a joke. He might as well just have a neon sign, a poster over his head. I do roids. And I don't have a problem with that. He is a roid head. Now, here's where it gets problem. Okay? Steroids, guys, take you places where you wouldn't normally go. There is no question that steroids work. And anybody that thinks, well, I just have to work harder than the guy doing steroids, doesn't know what they're talking about. Doesn't know what they're talking about. That you cannot simulate what the steroids do to your entire body, your entire system. You can't do it. If you're a D1 athlete or want to be a D1 athlete, and you're right on the fringe, and guys are passing you standing still, they're probably on the roids. And unless you're on them, if you're a D1 athlete and you want to go to the next level, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Now, I don't condone this. I don't take steroids. I've been in the health and fitness business for a long time. I think they are very highly destructive. But I am not in a position where I'm this close to $400 million. You see what I'm saying? I can't guarantee that if I were in that position, I wouldn't do the same thing myself. So I'm not hating on anybody or anything. Back to Mike Trout. Now, the reason I'm doing this is all these articles, and I got dozens of them lately, about Mike Trout. They're not saying what the situation is. Now, I'm going back to what I said a second ago. Steroids take you places you wouldn't normally go. All right? Think about what I just said. Steroids take you places that you wouldn't normally go. And I'm going to put a little caveat to that, is they're taking you places where you probably shouldn't go. Okay? Thus, the injuries. He is already breaking down, guys. He's 30 years old, and he has played 89 games in the last 2 years. And he probably won't play any more games this year due to injuries. They're all Roid injuries. Now, you look at Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, you look at their careers. 152 games, 154 games, 162 games. They weren't taking years off the prime of their career to rehab. Now, he's had back injuries, and he's not the only one. John Carlos Stanton can't stay on the field. Noah Syndergaard is a joke. He hasn't sniffed the major leagues in 2 years. Guys, they're taking you places you wouldn't normally go, and when you're used up, they throw you out. They throw you out. There's no coming back from that. One of the most extraordinary things about Alex Rodriguez, and rumors have it, there was books written, that he was doing roids in high school. One of the reasons that I think it just adds to the fact that he was an otherworldly athlete was the fact that it took him that long to break down. If you notice, Barry Bonds did not take steroids until the last 4 or 5 years of his career. Okay? And when they were done using him up, he was useless, guys. He couldn't even, all he could do was walk to home plate. Hopefully, he would hit a home run or a leisurely double where he didn't have to run, because he couldn't run without hurting himself. He used to be a 5-tool player: hit, run, field throw, and hit with power. By the end of his career, guys, when a ground ball would get through the infield and get to left field, they held their breath. Everybody just took second base on him because number one, he literally couldn't bend over to pick up the ball. And number two, this incredible cannon of an arm he had when he was younger, he couldn't throw from here to there. He was completely broken down. All he could do was walk to home plate, hit a home run, or strike out and walk. Guys, if he hit a ground ball to second base, he just turned and walked to the dugout because he couldn't run. Guys, this is steroids. It uses you up, and when you're done, you're done. Is Mike Trout done? Probably not. He's still relatively young. But guys, this is not good. And another thing, I believe when he was 21 years old, yeah, I think it was 21, he stole 49 bases. He hasn't come close to that since. Hasn't come close to that since. Because it takes too much of a toll on his body. Now, Willie Mays went down too, but he was stealing bases more than 1 year. Guys, this is what's going on with Mike Trout and all the other ones that are hurt. He's not the only one. And everybody thinks, well, the steroid era in baseball is going. Think again. You're out of your mind. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. And Mike Trout is the poster boy for what happens, for all his talent and all that sort of stuff. If this continues, and I don't know how it's not going to continue, you think he's going to go off the roids now? No. He'd be out of the league in 2 years if he went off the roids. So he's going to continue with the roids. I can't see how these injuries are going to stop. In 89 games over 2 years, that ain't getting him in the Hall of Fame. That's not getting him in the Hall of Fame. Anyway, as I said, I'm not hating on him. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm one of the few people that realize what's going on and just enjoy the sports or not enjoy the sports accordingly. It's everywhere. It's in tennis. It's in women's tennis. You don't